before Shaolin monks ever struck with their bare hands, before samurai drew their katanas in the name of honor, before the word martial art even existed, something ancient was born, hidden in the lush sacred landscapes of southern India. Not merely a fighting style, not a sport, but a sacred path, forged between earth and spirit, body and cosmos, Kalaripayattu, the oldest martial art in the world, a tradition said to be over 3,000 years old, and what you're about to discover will change the way you see combat, discipline, healing, and even your own body. When most people think of martial arts, their minds go straight to China, Japan, or Korea. But what if I told you that the true roots of martial arts stretch even further back to an ancient culture where war, ritual, medicine, and spirituality were one? Welcome to Kerala, India, a land where gods walked among mortals, where knowledge was passed in silence, and where warriors trained not only to fight, but to evolve. The word Kalaripayattu comes from Kalari, meaning battlefield or training ground, and Payattu, meaning fight or practice. But this is no ordinary training. It's a complete system of transformation, physical, mental, energetic, and spiritual. Kalaripayattu isn't just about defeating an opponent, it's about mastering yourself. It's about learning to move like an animal, strike like a storm, and heal like a sage. Its origins are so ancient, they vanish into myth. It is said that the god Shiva, lord of destruction and cosmic transformation, created this martial art and passed it down to his divine disciple, the warrior sage Parashurama. Parashurama is no ordinary figure in Indian mythology. He is considered one of the great avatars of Vishnu and the very founder of Kerala. According to legend, he created the land by throwing his axe into the ocean, commanding the waters to recede and reveal the earth. This land, sanctified by divine intent, became the birthplace of Kalari. Imagine it, deep in the forest, among towering palms and temple bells, warrior monks trained barefoot on red earth. Their movements weren't brutish, they were elegant, almost like dance. But behind every spin, every strike, every stance was lethality. They studied the postures of sacred animals, the lion for power, the snake for fluidity, the elephant for grounding, the peacock for elegance. They trained the eyes to see what others missed. They trained the breath to move energy, and they trained the mind to be still, even in chaos. But the most astonishing part, Kalaripayattu may be the origin point of all Asian martial arts. According to many traditions, it was a wandering monk from India, Bodhidharma, who brought these teachings to China in the 5th or 6th century CE. He journeyed across mountains to reach the Shaolin monastery, where he taught the monks not only philosophy, but physical practices, ways to strengthen the body and protect the mind during deep meditation. Over centuries, these practices evolved into what we now know as Kung Fu. But the seed? It was Indian. It was Kalari. That's why many martial arts historians now recognize Kalaripayattu not just as the oldest, but the source, a sacred blueprint that influenced the entire martial world. But Kalari is more than movement. It is a medicine, a science of life, a path of healing and awareness. In ancient times, warriors were also healers. They didn't just learn how to strike, they learned how to restore. Kalari is intimately connected to Ayurveda, the Indian system of holistic medicine. And within this, there's a special branch called Kalari Chikitsa, the healing therapy of the warrior, using herbal oils, body massage, marma point activation, and stretching techniques. Kalari masters could realign energy flows, heal injuries, and awaken vitality. They understood the marma points, the vital zones of the body, similar to acupuncture points or pressure nodes. Knowing where to hit and where to heal was part of the same wisdom. This is not a coincidence, because in Kalaripayattu, this body is sacred. It is the vessel of spirit, and to master it is to honor the divine. Training happens in a very specific place, not a gym, not a ring. But to Kalari, this is a consecrated space, dug into the earth, usually facing east. The floor is made of packed red clay. The air smells of incense, oil, and sweat. Weapons hang on the walls, but they're not trophies, they are offerings. Before any session begins, the student bows to the ground. They salute the masters, the elements, the ancestors. They light a flame, and only then do they begin. Because here, training is ritual. Movements are fluid, circular, explosive. They're drawn from animals, but also from the elements. Earth in the stance, water in the transitions, fire in the strike, air in the breath, ether in the awareness. It's a full body meditation, a warrior's yoga, a dance of precision, danger, and grace. Weapons in Kalari are treated with reverence. You don't touch one until your master decides you're ready, and that might take years. Some of the most legendary weapons include urumi, a flexible whip sword, terrifyingly difficult to master, swirling around the body like a silver. Flame, valum parichayam, sword and shield, used in blindingly fast combinations. Churika, kuntam, spear, maru, dagger, and many others, each tied to myth, to symbolism, to archetype. But then something happened that nearly ended it all. Colonialism. When the British took control of India, they quickly realized the power and discipline of the Kalari warriors. They saw them as a threat, and so they banned Kalaripayattu. Kalari schools were shut down, weapons were confiscated, masters were silenced. For decades, the tradition went underground, whispered, hidden, preserved only by the most loyal and courageous. But even colonialism couldn't erase this legacy, because Kalari was not just an art, it was identity, it was memory, it was resistance. In the early 20th century, a few brave masters began reviving the tradition. Names like C.V. Narayanan Nair, Kotakal Kanaran Gurukal, and later Govindan Kudi Nair and Sankara Narayana Menon began to reopen schools, train new generations, and even demonstrate Kalaripayattu across India and the world. Slowly, the fire returned. In recent decades, Kalaripayattu has appeared in films, documentaries, international workshops, even influencing choreographers in Bollywood and Hollywood. But something even more profound has emerged. Young people in India and beyond are waking up. Tired of a shallow, distracted culture, tired of noise without depth. They are searching for something real, something that connects them to ancient roots, to the body, to silence, to power that doesn't need to shout. And when they find Kalaripayattu, something clicks, something awakens. Because this is not just about fighting, it's about remembering who you are. In a world obsessed with speed and spectacle, Kalaripayattu whispers, slow down. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Breathe, move with purpose, strike only when necessary, and heal when you can. Its philosophy is simple and radical. True strength isn't in domination, it's in mastery of self. You don't train Kalari to beat others, you train to defeat the ego, to tame the inner chaos, to align with a higher principle. Because when you fight from clarity, you don't need anger, you don't need fear. You move from presence, from devotion, from spirit. So, if something stirred inside you while watching this, if some ancient memory, some inner fire began to rise, don't ignore it. Maybe you won't become a traditional warrior, but you can still reconnect with this ancestral energy, with the rhythm of your breath, with the wisdom of your body, with the power that comes from presence. Drop a comment below. What surprised you most about Kalaripayattu? Do you believe martial arts can be a spiritual path? And if this content spoke to your soul, subscribe to the channel, click the bell, and share this video with someone who needs to remember who they truly are. Until next time, and never forget the true martial art begins within.